Good afternoon or good day, folks. It's August 12th, 2021. This is the Backdrop Weekly Developer Meeting, where we get together every week to talk about priorities and things that are happening in the development side of the Backdrop CMS project. We'll do some quick introductions to get started. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm Quick Sketch on the internet, and I am a core committer for the project. Let's go to Robert to do an intro.
I'm Robert Lang, bug folder on the internet. I'm in Altadena, California, and I work on various things, but lately I've been on a tear against spam. And I'll flip it to Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm joining from Greece. I've been away for about a month and a half now, so I'm trying to catch up with what's going on and help. I hope I can make things happen for the next release in a month. Passing on to Luke.
Hi, I'm Luke McCormick, usually doing management things in San Ramon, California, but recently I've been dipping my toes into some coding, which is probably driving everyone crazy because I'm stumbling to things as if it's the first time I've seen them. But it's a support community and that kind of works out well. So we'll just keep going with that. Let me throw it over to Joseph.
I'm Joseph. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm a backend developer, just helping where I can. Greg, did you already go?
I've gone already, so maybe.
I can go.
Okay, Jen.
I'm Jen Lampton, joining from Oakland, California. Now I'm really fascinated by spam, but let's turn this over to Justin.
Justin Christopherson. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I'm here to volunteer for infrastructure tasks when they come up and however else I can help. Is that back to Nate?
Okay, yeah, it looks like Olaf dropped. He just posted that he was going to switch over to the broadcast version. So great. Thank you, everybody, for the introductions. Jen, do you want to do a quick community update?
Sure. So this week we have a new contrib maintainer. Someone you've probably seen in the issue queue named AllSite has created 2 new projects for Backdrop. One called Dark 7, which is a dark version of the 7 theme. People have been asking for that lately, so I would expect to see it in contrib soon. And a module called Content Limiter. So thank you, AllSite, for your contributions and for joining the contributor.
All right. So as we've started doing about a month ago, we have a forum post onto which people can post ideas that we should discuss during the weekly meeting. There were a couple of comments this week. By the way, these forum posts are under the events section on forum.backdropcms.org. Indigo Zella filed the one for this week, which is very much appreciated. So the first one that we have is requesting help on, let's see, okay, requesting help actually on a pull request that is stuck. So ZenCI, our continuous integration provider, is having some problems with the issue number 3008. This is handle module updates when the doc root is a symlink. So it's not a new issue. Brad Bulger has been working on trying to get this problem sorted out. In issue 3008, there's been a pull request for several weeks now, I think it is. But he made a new one as recently as, let's see, when was this? Yesterday? When was this? Yeah, just yesterday. And the problem is that ZenCI is failing the tests. But if you try to look at the test result failures, you get a page not found or an access denied page. So there's this weird problem with ZenCI that sometimes you have to be logged in to ZenCI, which means you have to have access to the Backdrop repository So basically, you have to be a core committer in order to view the ZenCI results. Only sometimes it's not supposed to work that way, but sometimes that does occur. And so it looks like what's happening right now is that we're unable to really get this issue sorted out because the tests are failing, but we're not actually sure what the failing tests are because we can't view the results. And Brad has emphasized that if he runs all of the tests on the sandbox, then they pass. So there may be an environmental thing on ZenCI that's causing them to fail. It does look like, from my perspective as someone that can view the results, that does look like it is related to the changes that are in the pull request. So there probably is something that may need to be adjusted in the pull request itself to accommodate for whatever the environment configuration is that we have on ZenCI. So I'm not totally sure what our next step is here. I think pulling it down, confirming if we can run it in other different environments, running that pull request in other environments may help get this unblocked. And I'm not quite sure what else to do here. I can post the results from ZenCI saying, what it is that ZenCI is actually failing on into the issue, and maybe that'll help a little bit as well. But yeah, I think that the big problem here is that ZenCI is continuing to be kind of unreliable for us. So I think that we can try to push forward this issue, but we can't merge an issue, a pull request that will cause all pull requests to fail. So we're kind of stuck on moving forward on this particular issue. If this is causing a legitimate failure, we can't actually merge it. So that's a little bit of a stuck issue there. Some additional eyeballs on issue 3008 would definitely be appreciated. It's possible that, our various different environments that we all use, maybe somebody would actually get the tests not passing on their local as well. But I'll post the test results from ZenCI into the issue. At least that'll give us a starting point to say which tests are actually failing, which are related to the module updates. So I'm pretty sure it's related to the change that's being suggested. Similar to that, Indigo Zella also brought up again the, oh wait, I guess she didn't actually, but it's on the list anyway, and that's switching over to GitHub Actions for our automated tests. We've made some headway on that this past week. Let me find the agenda again. So let's see. We've done a couple of things. So the main meta issue for switching to GitHub Actions is issue 4753. There's two things that we've moved forward on. One of the optimizations that ZenCI uses on older versions of MySQL is it converts the tables to MyISAM before copying the database when it uses the profile cache before each test run. It uses a MyISAM database and then copies that template database into a new database for every test run. The problem is that MyISAM isn't available on newer versions of MySQL, or at least it doesn't work in a way that our tests are compatible with. And so we made a modification to the shell script that runs our tests to make it so that you could skip that conversion to MyISAM. So that issue 4392 was just merged this week. We went ahead and enabled that MyISAM conversion for ZenCI, but when we use the GitHub Actions version that runs on newer environments, we will no longer be using that flag to convert to MyISAM. So that's one blocker that has let us move forward a little bit on using GitHub Actions. Another issue that was brought up is that
Nate.
Yeah.
So I did some poking around on my local environment to try and figure out what was going on with the conversion there.
Mhm.
And so it seems that MyISAM has a limit on how long identifier names can be.
Mhm.
And if you, basically the problem is that if you're using multi-byte character set, then our names are too long for MyISAM.
Mhm.
And so if you disable multi-byte handling in your database, then it'll convert to MyISAM fine. But like, that's obviously not a very good fix to just disable your multi-byte handling.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it appeared basically if I disable multi-byte handling on my local, the conversion runs fine. But if I leave it the default settings, then they fail.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, which I think that we should be running everything with multi-byte handling on.
Mhm.
You know, because that's people want their emojis basically.
Right.
and Backdrop will turn on multi-byte handling by default if the database supports it. So it's
Right.
definitely the most common environment configuration.
Yeah, but so that's basically for newer environments that still have MyISAM support, that's what's going on there.
Right.
Is that
Do you think it's because like newer environments just turned on multi-byte handling? They don't really turn on multi-byte handling. Backdrop detects if it can support multi-byte handling and then turns it on.
Mhm.
So perhaps that is the key thing there.
Right.
What,
But yeah, but
sorry,
yeah.
what happens if sites switch hosting providers and then would that follow the export of the database? Will things break? Like if they include emojis on their content and then they switch to a provider that doesn't support it?
Yeah,
Would
Yeah,
it-
does cause problems.
that'll break your site.
Yeah, your database won't import into the destination provider because the database export will likely encounter the same problem that we're seeing with the MyISAM conversion, that I think the error is literally like key length too long that occurs. So the database would just fail to import.
And there's no way for us to catch that and throw a friendly message that sort of like indicates that problem that sort of like you have multi-byte content on your database, but the server that you're running it does not support it or something like that, instead of throwing cryptic.
Is this for like using backup and migrate?
Yeah, or even doing the manual thing that
I think
someone had. Yeah,
if
sorry,
it was a manual import, that would be on your hosting provider. Like
it would fail. Yeah, you're right. It would fail on the thing. Yeah, right. You're right.
yes, we wouldn't have any way of displaying a message because there wouldn't be a backdrop site running at that point.
Yeah. The server would throw the errors. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, anyway, I think yeah, we're continuing to move forward on getting off of ZenCI, moving over to GitHub Actions. Let's see, there's also a blocking issue switching over to GitHub Actions, that the page cache test is failing consistently on some environments, including GitHub Actions. It's issue 5126. Joseph, since you're here, I would love, actually, if you could take another look at that, since you'd already reviewed it once before, that if you have a proxy in front of Backdrop, such as Apache, and mod proxy is enabled, then the page cache test fails because Backdrop is not properly implementing the HTTP spec. So when there's a proxy in front of Backdrop, the web server behaves in a way that Backdrop tests. It will test the proxy rather than testing Backdrop, and they behave differently. The proxy is behaving correctly, and Backdrop's page cache is behaving incorrectly, and they need to behave the same way. So that and then the test needs to be updated to expect the results of, it doesn't matter if there's a proxy in front of Backdrop or if Backdrop is handling the requests directly, the cache handling on page requests should be the same. So issue 5126 switches some of the page cache handling, and then updates the tests to work with that updated cache handling, which matches that of proxies. So issue 5126, it's been marked RTBC. Indigo Zella tested it with mod proxy. HerbDuel did a code review on it. But I was the one that wrote the pull request, and I screwed it up like 3 times. And Indigo Zella kept pointing out, I think you got this backwards. And I'm like, I'm not quite sure. So I got really confused on that one. So I've kind of lost my own confidence in merging it. So that could use some extra eyeballs.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
Let's see. And let's see, the other issue that was raised in the forum this week was related to spam on backdropcms.org. We discussed this a little bit before the broadcast began, and maybe we'll continue it a little bit afterwards. But it's kind of a messy topic. So if you guys are okay with it, we'll probably just skip over that and then come back to it after the meeting. Greg, do you have anything to say?
Nope, sorry.
Okay. It's quite all right. Okay. Let's see. So there are some other updates. The biggest thing today, of course, is that we had a release. Backdrop 119.3 came out today. There's a security release that we are coordinating with Drupal and the third-party library that actually contained the vulnerabilities, which is CKEditor. So CKEditor came out with a new version today, which was unfortunate that it didn't fall on a Wednesday. So we had an out-of-band security release today, but we posted an announcement earlier this week saying that such a out-of-band release was going to occur. In truth, it doesn't seem as though it's super bad thing. It's just XSS vulnerabilities. But yeah, as always, it's a great idea to update as soon as possible. Let's see. Well, another thing that is in the 1.3 or 1.19.3 release that pleases me greatly is that we had this issue that Olaf raised regarding the icons on the admin/configure page were all going wonky. They were repeating across the page. And that issue 5138 was also fixed and included in the release today. That's kind of it. Let's see, we already talked about GitHub Action support. The only other item that we have for the bug fix release that is prioritized, so 119.4 will be our next bug fix release. And the one item that we're trying to really move forward on is PHP 8 support, full PHP 8 support, which is issue 5076. So as stated previously, like switching over to GitHub Actions will help facilitate this quite a bit, because then we can actually have it run the PHP 8 tests. And that way we can have something that confirms, yes, all of Backdrop is compatible with PHP 8. There were some other extra notes in the PHP 8 support issue 5075, that Indigo Zella helpfully posted the list of all failing tests that are not passing PHP 8 support right now, which includes 8 different test files, test classes. So there's not a whole lot to actually address there, but there's definitely some before we can really claim full PHP 8 support. All right. That's all I have for today. We have the regular items here that are slated for 1.20. We are running out of time here for the 1.20 release. We only have a little over 2 weeks remaining before the feature freeze on September 1st for 1.20. So we don't have We have had some changes that have been merged in already, but it doesn't look like we've had a lot of updates on the other items. So I'll probably skip over that section for today. That's kind of it. Would you guys like to raise any other issues or topics before we close? No? Okay. Well, in that case, we'll end the broadcast for today. Thank you, folks, all for joining today, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Jen, that's your